so cool. What date are we on? It's the 10th of December. It's our team call. And I'm really excited today because I want to talk to you about the fifth quarter. And you probably think I'm a bit pig in mental because there is no such thing as a fifth quarter. So I want to talk to you a little bit about what I mean about that. But I also want to start sharing with you a little bit of a different way about how we can think about our goals in a kind of aspirational driven, value driven way, which is a little bit different than kind of, you guys know, I think SMART goals are BS. So this is a bit of a different way of thinking about them. And I'm going to really watch my language fee. So if I F and Jeff, I'm really sorry. But I think it's a slightly different way of thinking about them, really based on the stuff that Sue started talking to us about a couple of months ago. So I know that some of you were on that. And it's kind of the stuff that I've been learning as part of her mindset revolution. And it's really allowed me to think about things in a very different way. And there's so much power in it. And it's really helped me, even in the last couple of weeks, think about like my bigger, wider aspirations. So I really wanted to share that with you. So first of all, and like ask me questions as we kind of go along. Fifth quarter. What the devil am I on about? So December is a funny old month and everyone's like, oh, December's so slow. No, it doesn't have to be slow because we obviously have this launch. So we have this absolutely amazing opportunity in terms of making sure that actually we get people sorted now into January because it might take time for their equipment to arrive, and with Easter and Christmas and postage and all of that sort of stuff. So it's a really great opportunity. But what you do now is going to propel your business into next year. And I completely mean that. So it's setting you up for next year. And when the rest of the world is slowing down, celebrating the holidays, it doesn't need to be the whole of December, but I love Christmas. You guys know how much I love Christmas. But this isn't the time for us to start slowing down. This is actually the time for us to start speeding up. We can be better. We can be, oh, hello, Clara. Just admitting her, better, stronger, hungrier, and we can actually start speeding up. And it's going to really help us moving forward. Because when you lean in and not out in the holiday season, trust me when I say that those people that have been watching you throughout December, who are they going to think of come January? Are they going to think of the person that isn't showing up, or are they going to think of you? Yes, they're going to think of me. They're going to think of me. So I think that that's the thing. And we have to often, I've had a couple of Decembers ago, and last year I was pregnant and I got up every single morning. It quite helps that I wasn't drinking, so I never had a hangover over Christmas, ideal. But I was getting up, I was showing up with intent. And I really told myself that actually December's going to be an amazing month, and January was an amazing month. I did really, my business did really well in December. It did really, really well in January. And actually, you have to just be really careful about the stories that we tell ourselves, right? Because you can either stack them up to be disempowering to you, or you can change it and you can level up in those. So, we didn't come here. None of us started this business to play small. We started this because we want to help other people and we want to empower other people to make changes. How many people I have had say to me when I've gone to say like, oh, look, first, start doing my inviting first week in January. And they're like, oh, sorry, I joined the gym yesterday. Because that's when everyone does it. They join the gym in that first week in January. So if they're not seeing you showing up throughout December, ladies, you do know that I can see your chat, right? I get you little minx. You guys are freaking hilarious. But when you are showing up and showing your story, it really is. They're like, oh, okay, well, you do that throughout December. So of course you're going to be doing it in January. Of course you're going to be showing up for yourself. And if you're showing up for yourself and people can see like, oh, wow, you're even doing that, even with all the craziness of the pandemic going on, even with everything that, Christmas and relatives and cooking and all those other crazy things. And I know Christmas looks quite different this year. Doing all of those things is really, you're just going to be in people's mind. So the more consistent you are with your journey, which is where it starts, at the end of the day, your job is your journey, as we love to say. When you are really showing up for yourself, you are making you better. People are looking at you going, well, if you can get through the holidays, if you can get through Christmas, and if you can go into January feeling better about yourself, what is that person going to be able to do for me? So it really is time to, you know, step up into your mindset, step up into where you want to go for next year. At the end of the day, this is your business. You can do what you like. You can absolutely do what you like. You know, you're your own boss, you're your own CEO. You can make this as a hobby, or you can say to yourself, no, do you know what? I'm going to go all in with this. And that starts in December. That doesn't start in January. Okay. So that is kind of what I mean about this. So for those of you that are starting 9-week Control Freak, this is a really perfect opportunity. And you've probably seen loads plastered about how, you know, there was one coach who went from, I think she was just scraping diamond to being 15-star diamond throughout her launching 80-day obsession 3 years ago. So within 80 days, she went from being a diamond to having 15 other diamonds within her team. And how she did that in 80 days was showing up, showing her journey, showing her results, showing the consistency. Basically, journaling her story allowed her to show people, this is what I'm doing, these are the struggles, this is what's going well, this is what's difficult. And being able to do that for herself, people are like, well, yeah, I want to be involved in that. So just remember that, you know, yeah, when you're tired or you're feeling overwhelmed or you don't want to post, actually, you are inspiring change in other people by showing up and being authentically you and showing the good, the bad, and the ugly. And that really is what it's about. You know, I think that's one of the things that people say to me is like, oh, you know, you're full of energy. But I do show up when I don't have energy, and I'm true. And, you know, I'm really real about that. And like, you know, time is a bit crap at the moment or whatever it might be, and just being authentically you. The thing that I would also want to say about is, you know, one of the things that we do is we do treat this like a hobby. Now, you know, for a long time, I treated this as just a hobby and not for the, you know, amazing opportunity that it really is. Now, that's been quite a gradual shift for me, but this really is, you know, this business can really boom if you want it to, and it's completely up to you how you show up. Now, the thing is that, you know, some people are like, I'm putting a lot of hours into it. Completely get it. When you start any business, that is exactly how it is. But you have to put in the hours now to make the income further down the line. So you have to put the hours into a 6-figure business if you want a 6-figure business. If you want a business that's going to make £1,000, then obviously your hours are going to be different to that. So show up for what you want to be and where your aspirations are, not where they are now. Does that make sense? So, you know, treat this really can be such an opportunity, and we've seen so many people step into that, and I can definitely see my trajectory going that way. So you need to show up as the coach that you want to be in the future. You need to show up as the coach that you want to recruit into your business. You need to show up as the challenger, your perfect challenger, because those are the things that are going to inspire change in other people. So that's what I kind of wanted to say about that. Get planning as well. So I think everyone pretty much knows what they're doing. If you're doing 9-week Control Freak, you know when you're going to be doing your prep week and your start date. So have that plan in place. But also, we spoke about this before about 12-week years. So knowing what you're doing at least for the next 3 months, at least, because that is going to really help you plan. So when people say to me like, well, when's your next challenge group starting? You should know when it is. When's your next sneak peek? We should know when it is. And getting that all built in and planning out your business is going to really help you to propel forward. The worst times in my business are when I've sat there and I've gone like, I don't even know what I'm inviting to. Because if you don't know what you're inviting to, you won't invite. It's simple as that. You just won't do it. And that is then when you can, so, you know, doing a bit of planning. And if that means taking out a day of your month to do that planning, so you know what you're doing the following month or the month after that or whatever, I'd really recommend it. If it means that you have to then dial in some of your other activities to make sure that that planning gets done, then I would absolutely recommend doing that. Does that make sense about Q5? Do I sound like a mentis? Does anyone have any questions about that before I go on to like aspirations and that sort of stuff? Go on. Hold on. Are you unmuted? Go for it.
Done it. Is that right? Yeah. Just about 9-week Control Freak. I mean, this might be slightly off pieced here.
That's okay.
Are we doing like a general group for that? I think it was asked in the group, but I forget because I don't really take in information. I'm a bit shit. Sorry, yes. I am. I read stuff, I take it in, and then it literally goes.
It leaves your brain. No, I know.
Yeah. Are we doing like like we did for MBF? Are we going to do it like that again? Because I've got a group and I've got 7 of us in there, 8 if I include Ash, because she's joined my MM100 group, and there is flipping crickets, mate. There's me and one other person posting every day, and it's just painful.
Yeah, so I think what we need to do, I think we need to be using bod groups more, moving into next year as well.
That is on bod groups.
Yeah, moving into next year, some of the recognition stuff is going to be around utilising bod groups. So we do, which is interesting. Yeah. We can make a success of it. It's up to us how we do it. So one of the things that, if we don't lean in as coaches, how can we expect our challengers to do it? So when I'm qualifying challengers and bringing people in for the test group in January, one of the things I will be saying to them is that they have to be, an expectation of you is that you are
being active,
logging your workouts, logging your Shakeology, logging whatever, and at least doing that. And as a coach, you can then see people doing that and then having that one-on-one with them. So it's completely up to us and like how we decide to do it. I think we probably should do it as coaches. If we're starting next week, we should probably do a group together. And see how it goes, and then I don't know.
We can just change the MBF one, can't we? Because that's still there running, isn't it?
I can't remember.
I think but I don't know if you can change it though.
You can change the name and the picture and all that schnizzle, because I've done it on my one.
We'll have a look into it, and then I think we need to lean into it so that because if we don't lean into it, how can we expect our challengers to do it?
Yeah, mine started really great, but then it sort of petered off.
Yeah, I think we just need to go for it. So yeah, let's do it on bod groups. The other thing, I was talking to Marcy about it, and she was sort of saying about we can do, because everyone can see. Like as the coach, you can see like who's logging workouts and things like that, so we can do like challenges of the week. We can do stuff that's going to help boost engagement, have little prizes and all sorts of things, and do some of that sort of thing to kind of encourage a bit of chatter that way, because I think it is I think they've fixed a lot of the bugs as well, haven't they? Which I think is helpful.
Yeah, it keeps coming the post, doesn't it, from Thomas and stuff, so absolutely. It's all good. Think positively, Kirsty.
Come on, you, madam.
Come on, don't be a negative ninny.
Cool. So
that's Liv keeps calling me one.
Yeah, we're not allowed. Yeah, no, absolutely. So
we're not allowed negative ninnies.
No negative.
On fire.
Exactly.
It's just your content.
That's saying something, isn't it?
Let's start with me. Jesus, it's the time of the month, ladies. Back off.
Okay, back off.
Okay, cool. So the next thing I wanted to talk to you about is mindset, and kind of going from being goal-based to aspirational based. Now, this is stuff that Sue has been like explaining to me, and it's really helped me to rethink how I'm kind of thinking about my aspirations. So one of the first activities that she had me do was think about my real deep core beliefs and values, as in what is it about me that is like fundamental to my core. So for me, it's obviously like it's my family, like my family is everything to me. And what I want is the freedom for them. But the other thing I want is, I want contentment. I want a life full of compassion. I want to be able to lead with my heart. All of these things, like these, I've got a zest for life. Those are things that are at core values of everything about my being. And the difference being when you aspirationally set goals as opposed to just being goal driven is that they need to be based back in your core values. And this can then get a little bit complex, but I kind of hopefully, I mean, this might kind of go into another call because it's quite a big topic, and she's spoken about this for like 3 hours and I'm trying to fit this into like 15 minutes. But essentially what the kind of premise behind it is that goals are basically, so the thing with a goal is that it's about moving out of autopilot. So the thing is when we have these goals, we set these goals and we kind of, but our autopilot tends to go to the negative. And that is just how life is. We are programmed to be sat in the negative, right? It's just easy because that's like, it's harder, and it's hard to retrain our brain. Like being negative, it's just a human default. But when we do is when we set aspirations that are intentional and we pay attention to them, it means that we get out of that autopilot and we can move into more of like a solution finding state. So, you know, that's one of the things that I talk about often, even at work, is about being solution. I don't want people coming to me with a million problems. Yes, they can come with their problems, but I want them to come with a solution. So when you intentionally look at your kind of like how you're processing stuff from a place of empowerment, that can help you to move out of that autopilot, because that autopilot is essentially, it's based on your, you know, your fight or flight, your kind of survival habits. So it's really hard to move out of it. But actually when you can do it, this is kind of where, you know, this is kind of like the basis of where it's coming from. So one of the things, and some of you might remember Sue did this when she was on the call, is she was saying, you know, think about the things that make you feel stressed. Can you think of a situation, you know, in your life right now that you feel stressed about? Well, I can think of quite a few. How does that make you feel? What feelings does that conjure up? You know, do you feel anxious? Do you feel disempowered? Do you feel on edge? Whatever it might be. Now I want you to think about something that you're grateful for. How does that make you feel? The funny thing is that when, you know, our mind has the power to affect the state of being. So, you know, when you are thinking in that negative, in that autopilot, in that I've got this goal and I need to reach it, this is really important, you are switching, and it's a chemical balance in your brain. It is, I don't know enough about it, but essentially that is why we gratitude journal. That is why we do this gratitude stuff. That's why when you're setting goals, it being based on your core values, because they have that ping, they have the same effect as when you are thinking about what you're grateful for. Does that make sense? Do I sound completely nuts? So yeah, that is why I think this works. Okay, so being very goal driven. So goals, I want to lose 10 pounds. I'm going to use weight as an example because it's quite a nice, easy way of thinking about it. So when we're thinking about being goal driven, I want to lose 10 pounds. It's like that momentary joy based on that achievement. It's future focused. I want to be in a size 10. But the problem is that it's prone to cycles. You reach that goal, how do you feel? Oh, does it invoke the joy? No, because it's not grounded in the aspirations that you have for your life. It's not grounded in the things and the values that are really important to you. Whereas when you move into being more aspirationally driven, it's giving us the opportunity and a daily opportunity to process things based on joy, because we know that they're based on our core values. So for me, why do you invite people? Why do you send messages to people? Why do you connect with people? Why do you do the activities on your bat? Do you do them because they're there and someone's told you to do them? Or do you do them because you know that it's going to help you move to where you want to be in your life? And the whole point of this and the premise is this is about doing things with intention. And I have definitely noticed the more I show up with intention, the more I am enjoying the process, the more I am enjoying moving myself forwards, the more I am enjoying building relationships. So I couldn't give a rat's bum if people say yes or no, because I'm enjoying the process and I'm enjoying doing this and building relationships and getting to know people and having fun with it and and all these things, you know, and just having a laugh with it. You know, I must look like a big mentalist on my stories half the time, but if I make someone smile in the day, and you know, one of my things is about invoking joy in others, if I make someone smile today, I feel like I've done a good job. Now it's a daily opportunity for me to process something based on joy, based on something that matters to me. That is more inspiring in my brain and in my body than someone joining with a challenge pack. Woo, brilliant moment of joy, one moment of joy. Next thing, do you see what I mean? Whereas when you are celebrating the process and what you are doing, you're being present, you're being presently focused, and that is more sustainable. And especially if you've got big goals and big aspirations, it allows you to enjoy that process more. So being fueled by positive passion, it helps you to elicit those feelings in the process. And it allows you to move from that negativity into a place of much more positivity and be, I guess, more grounded in what you're doing, but intentional as well. So goals inhibit, aspirations inspire. Goals limit us on specific success, whereas aspirations are more expansive, right? So think about this, you know, I don't know about you, but when I talk to people about weight loss, I'm going to end up running out of time, aren't I? But when you talk to people about weight loss, and I want to lose 10 pounds, that's a goal, right? But when you get them to change that, and this is why I just say, I don't just get to, you know, I don't, people, oh yeah, how much is it? I want more information. I talk to people about, well, what are their goals? And they say, oh, I want to lose 10 pounds. And we always do this. Why? Why is that important? How does that make you feel? What is it that you want to achieve? Because when you get down to the real aspirational part, it's more directional, it's more excitable, it's more energizing, it's more motivating, because it's not just a number on a scale. It's not just the label in the back of a bloody dress, right? Because when you're thinking about showing up for your family, living a longer, better life, whatever it is, it allows you to progress forward. So yeah, do you know what? There's no problem with having goals. Goals help us operationalize our aspirations, but some goals can be aspirations, but not all goals. Hold on, let me get this right. Some goals can be aspirations, but most goals are just a stepping stone towards that aspiration, if you're seeing what I'm saying. So they're stepping stones to where you want to go. So I want you to kind of think about it in terms of, I guess, so a goal is something to achieve, not be, whereas an aspiration is in the being. So, you know, we always say to people, you know, what is it that you want to do? But actually, who is it that you want to be? So 5 years' time, I want to be someone very different. I don't know what I necessarily want to do, but I know who I want to become. And that is the difference from moving from goal focus to being aspirational. But it just allows you to celebrate that every day. So if I can say at the end of the day, yeah, I've shown up with intent, I might have only sent one invite or made 2 connections or done whatever. But if I can take the joy in those things because they're grounded in what mattered to me most, that is more gratifying than, I do like a checkbox, I must admit. I do like seeing everything completed. You ladies know me. But there's things that you can take joy and pride in. And that is one of the reasons why I've set habits, specific habits that are grounded in what matters to me. So goals are limited, they're in the negative. Aspirations, they release a specific chemical. And the way I want you to think about this, and this is something that Sue said to me, my brain is growing through getting through this struggle. So we all have struggles, right? And nothing's going to completely diminish. The chemical that's being released when you're thinking more positively is dopamine. Now, when dopamine is released in your brain, so when you're being very goal driven, that is releasing adrenaline. Now that's fine to keep going on a high, but you can't keep going up and up and up because you will literally fall off a cliff edge. So what we have to do in our brains is we have to physically do something that's going to help reduce that adrenaline, i.e. the stressor, the cortisol levels, to be able to boost the dopamine to help us then cope with a bit more stress, right? So doing it this way round allows you to do that. So practicing gratitude, doing meditation, doing your workout, but that is also a stressor, so we have to kind of appreciate that that's actually boosting your adrenaline as well. But rewarding the effort throughout the way is going to really help play with that chemical balance. I could really get into the science of it, but I won't go any further with it because it probably sounds all a bit crazy. But does that make sense? So when you're setting your goals and you're thinking about where you want to be and who you want to be in the future, get them to be grounded. I really like the example. So I was using the example about my water intake. So I've got my habit tracker. Water intake is one of my goals, but actually it's grounded in my aspirations. And I know that sounds a bit bizarre. You think, well, how is that going to make you be a better person by drinking water? But I know when I drink my water, I don't have as much brain fog. I don't feel as sluggish. I have to go to the toilet a lot. But I know that I just function better because it fuels my brain better and all of these things. That is allowing me to show up with more energy for my girls. It allows me to, I won't say what I was going to say, but it allows me to, I'm going to say, use the girls' potty if we're out on a walk, if I've done anyway. But
We've all done it. It's lockdown. We've all done it. It works.
It was you telling me about the potty incident at the beach that I was just like, but anyway. But
it's advice. It's good advice.
It is very good advice.
Use a potty. It's fine.
But the point is that there's a real basis for the reason why I'm drinking water, right? Because I know that it's allowing me to show up better. And it sounds so stupid, but this is the thing. And so I want you to think about when you are setting these habits, and I will do more about habits because there is, we could go into there is so much more work in mindset and this grounding. But when you think about your habits, I want you to think about, and they could be habits of, inviting, connecting. They can be your business, but they can be personal as well. So I've split out my habits into personal and business. And really kind of based on when I'm looking at it, well, why is that a habit that I want to create? How is that grounded in the person I want to become? How is that grounded in the aspirations that I have for my life? So I now know when I'm sat there and I'm like, right, I've got to do my 10 invites today. I've got to be, I'm doing it because of these two girls. Put something in your environment. Put something in your environment that means something to you. Because when you do that and you think I don't want to do this is bullshit. I'm knackered. I want to go to bed. Do you think Steve Jobs used to say that? Do you think, what's his name, Dyson, when he was on version 6,450 of his first vacuum cleaner, do you think he was like, I'm tired? Probably. But he did it anyway and he kept going. And I think this is the thing is, are you treating your business like a business or are you treating it like a hobby? Because I know for me, I am probably treating it more like a hobby. I love what I do. I love you ladies dearly. I love what it is. But I think that I know if I want to show up and I want to do the stuff and I want to go for the goals and the aspirations that I have for my future, I need to show up more consistently, even when it's difficult. I need to do those invites with intention. Now, I'm also not suggesting you do it when you're in a terrible, bad mood, or if you've had a really, really day and you think that that's going to come across in your messaging. I had last week, I had a really crappy day. I was like, if I start inviting people, they're going to see straight through that negativity. So I don't do it. So I think you've just kind of you've got to weigh it up, but you have got to think about it. What do I want? Where do I want to go? And how are those habits that I want to create going to help propel me forward? Are they serving me? Is what I'm doing right now, is it serving my future self? or not. And I think that that's quite a nice thing to think about it that way. So don't ever set goals on the should. If you ever catch yourself saying, oh, I should do that. Oh, I should do my workout. Oh, I should invite some people now. Oh, I should connect. Take that word out, because that is negatively based. I want to do this because I want X for my future. So there's a lot more power in being than doing. There's a lot more power in the being than the should. And it's not narcissistic to celebrate yourself along the way. So one of the things so I want you to think about rewards for when you achieve some of these things that you set yourself. So I will talk one little more thing about rewards, because what we often do, and I will tell you guys a true story. So you guys know that I had set a goal for diamond. I hit diamond and I literally went, oh, but it's not a strong diamond. And I didn't celebrate it. Now that has been a goal of mine for the last 2 years. I diminished the goal because I was like, well, I didn't do it as quickly as I wanted to do it. Oh, well, it's not a strong diamond, is it? That's fucking nuts. Like, that is ridiculous. I'd achieved something that I've been trying to achieve, but I'd hit it. I was like, oh. And we do it all the time. Oh, I've finished a workout program. Oh yeah, but I've done 6, so it's no big deal. You need to celebrate yourself every single step of you need to celebrate every single step of the way. And it doesn't have to be a thing. So this is something that Sue has changed my mind about. I was like, no, it has to be a thing. It doesn't have to be materialistic, and it definitely shouldn't be food, because that's a whole nother conversation. It doesn't have to be, we won't talk about food. Okay, so, and she has this idea, and this is the thing that I find a little bit funny, and it's taken me a while to get my head around this, but it is not narcissistic to celebrate yourself. But thinking about, so one of the things that she does is she says she's a badass, and that word, I can't say it without doing the funny accent. But she's like, yeah, you're an effing baller. You've done this, you smashed this, you're amazing. Like, they're the words that she physically tells herself. Now that's not me, but she, so she says that just the words that she tells herself is in itself a reward. And I'm like, that's amazing. Yes, absolutely. So think about some phrases that you can tell yourself that are actually a reward. And when you do some of those things, like you might have ticked off all your to-dos, you like with my organized mummy, when I tick off all me to-dos, I am like, yeah, I'm a bloody badass, because I love a tick list. But it also means that it fills me with a little bit more joy that my house doesn't look like a piece of crap. But I think, just think about what are some of the phrases that really mean a lot to you, that help you think about who you want to become in the future, and things that are worth celebrating, but do it in a way that, it's based on your grounding. It doesn't have it, the reward is you just saying yourself those things and celebrating along. It's going back to that process and celebrating your journey and allowing yourself to have those moments of joy throughout the journey, versus that I've hit this weight bracket. Oh, well, now I want to hit this bracket. Oh, well, now I want to hit this bracket. Or, oh, well, I've done this program. Oh, well, my bum isn't looking the way we all do it. We're all terrible. So let's switch it round, yeah? And I'd love for you to think about these. And I'm more than happy, like I could talk about this for hours. So I'm going to stop talking. But I'm going to put a couple of activities into the coach page and things that I want you to kind of think about. What are the things that you can tell yourself that are going to help you to reward your effort, as opposed to them necessarily being actual things? And I want to hear them. So I'm going to stop talking because I've got 2 minutes. I told you, I get on my soapbox.
She had some things to say, guys.
All right, let's go.
Oh, can you take a breath? Oh,
should have taken some guys before. Ladies, I've got so much on this. I can't fit it all in. But like, this might feel like I've literally just gone blur. But the thing that I want to, you know, what I just want us to get away from is that, you know, income goals are fine. It is absolutely, oh my goodness, good job, Sal, well done.
Thanks.
It's absolutely okay to have income goals. It's okay to want things, you know, but I want you to think, like, for example, one of my goals is to replace my income, because it means, but it's based in my aspirations. It's because I want the freedom with my family. It's because I you know, I want to take Lola and pick her up. I don't want Alethea to go to preschool 5 days a week or whatever. So they are really based in the core values and things that I want for my life, if that makes sense. So I want you to think about that when you are setting your goals for 2021, because when we have our one-to-ones, I'm going to be asking you these questions. And we're going to go down a bit. So it's not just the 5 levels of why. This is about it being really, really based in your core beliefs and values. Does that make sense? We're going to cut out in a minute, and I've given you no time for questions. If you want to hop off and hop back in very quickly, if anyone got any questions, then I'm more than happy to do that.
Can I just say that we absolutely adore you, and you're not a mediocre diamond at all. You are amazing.
Thanks, babe.
We wouldn't all be here if it wasn't for you, apart from Raven. I think you are Scottish, are you? Yeah. So the rest of us wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. So stop putting yourself down and being an numpty. And Fee,
made in Chelsea instead.
You, young man, are just the most gorgeous little boy in the whole wide world.
He is. Isn't he cute? He's so cute. He's a Gruffalo.
You are so lovely.
Does anyone have any questions? Did you want to hop off and hop back in quickly?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, all right, because I probably confused the living daylights out of you, haven't I?
No, stop it. No, you haven't.
Okay, good. All right, let's hop off, hop back in, and I might have to open the window.
I think you might, yeah, and sip.